Like, oh, just so used to Rainbow. Adjust to the movement speed, you know. Really gonna have a hard time when I switch back. Or I don't know if I will switch back, because I might do Rainbow A instead.
Hi, Calmin.
Or tries. It's like way worse than when I was actually playing Sakura.
Yep, gamers.
I still remember the strategies, but being used to the shortcut is something else. To just play Rainbow all over, it's gonna be different.
Oh, you're playing right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can hear the Rainbow Beat Bomb.
No, I was playing Resurrection Butterfly. How do you hear Rainbow Beat Bomb?
I heard the that was
This is just
card.
This is a pretty generic sound effect. But yes, I think it's the same as the Rainbow Beat Bomb.
Oh.
Actually hear my sound in game?
No, just the sound effects.
I hear the sound effects. I'm kind of surprised. Can't do it anymore. Let me just stick to Rainbow right now. There's no reason to. Right there.
Yeah, this is gonna be 2.5 hours. But, well, the grace period...
Not really that long. I think it's like 48 to 50 minutes if you like do everything.
Isn't it the case that you get an hour and 30 minutes to do a run? And then there's like
yeah, I mean a full run is like 48 to 50 minutes if you do everything, like time everything down.
Ah, yeah, but so...
Not like an hour.
So it'll be like, maybe like 2 hours, 15 minutes?
Yeah. That was so tight. Can open a pop-up chat on TRS.
Things are happening on the stream.
If I do like this, a pop-up and go back to press it so I can get no delay.
Okay. I think this is probably going to be okay for audio, but...
Oh. Street actually put a meme picture there. Meme picture.
Oh, well, that's very street-like. Good meme.
Cool, here's some cherry blossoms.
Our count flex.
Do you have like any interest with Sakura B if you play PCB again?
Give me a sec. It'll return shortly, don't worry. It'll return before they start playing. Like this.
That'd be an imperishable night. Rip, the Iron match got delayed, so we don't have Iron today.
I guess, do you want to start talking about the system?
Want to talk about the system?
Might as well.
Like just generally, yeah. I guess might be useful.
Where should we start? Because there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot, but let's start from the easy things. So, alright, this is very good. So, if you see like both players, they have put their cherry gauge magnified so we can see them more clearly. The game systems around getting borders, so you can see the plus number above the below ones. The two numbers are like basically your PIV. They get more complicated because you can temporarily lose PIV and gain it back. But we'll get to that later. It's not really relevant unless you are on a very high level. So let's start from the basics. So you get the cherry points from just much more if you do it on focus. And during an activated border, you also get PIV from grazing, which is also a lot more if you do it on focus. So this is kind of the to go really aggressively with unfocusing in various attacks and some patterns that you can maximize your graze and PIV gain. And there are a lot of subtle tricks in this game, which are quite difficult to explain. So the cancels, in addition to shooting, gives the cherry point as well, which is actually the most important source in higher difficulties. Each of the bullet cancel give you 20 cherry points. So that goes very high. In some attacks that goes like K plus, so you can recover your border very fast during especially boss attacks. On the stage, if you look at the power items, point items, and the pink blocks are the cherry items. So they give a fixed, not really fixed, like a high value of cherry points. So it's a base value of 1000 per item, and every spell card you during the run does not reset, so carry over stages. This gets pretty important because the early game spell casts are essential to keep up with the border routing. Otherwise, you don't get enough during stages and can have big trouble. Oh. Which one is actually going to be tough, because once you make a mistake, you always reset. There's really no point in continuing.
So we got frost columns coming up, and frost columns is that type of thing that I think is really hard.
Looks very cool, but I can never do it.
It's really hard to fully optimize. It's not static, but there are
3 possible timings to do. I just do the easiest one for the border, and that gives like a pretty consistent like 8k or something, but you can do some of the hard timings and patterns. But I never get to learn them, and it's so inconsistent for me.
And isn't it the case that the pattern layout itself depends on which direction you move Cherno? And though it's not static,
if you have to move Cherno to the right every time.
Yeah.
Like the pattern on the left is not possible to graze at all. It also is kind of RNG dependent. If Cherno moves vertical position, affect grazing by quite a bit. There are patterns if she moves a lot vertically, either it's like going from the very high position to a very low position, or the opposite one. I think both are pretty bad. You want the height to be consistent.
Yeah, the timer is increased because there's a lot of timing out that you have to do in Perfect Cherry Blossom. You have to time out a lot of patterns, milking for Cherry Plus. Also, you gotta wait for your borders to end and stuff like that while not shooting. There's also spell bonus milks where you time, obviously you time down the spell card in order to graze. Stuff like that prolongs the game, so it would be unreasonable to just have an hour for credits in a scenario like this. So that's why it's now 90 minutes. And the same is also going to be the case for Ian scoring. They both have prolonged time limits.
Actually, back then, when the KG score attack is still alive, I played it twice, and both of the time because I just can't get up early in the morning, so I only get around 1.5 hours. Like this is so basically like 1 hour plus last credit.
And Yu-suke is setting
He did
himself
pretty well during these 2 times.
Yu-suke is he's setting himself up for that table turning graze. Well, I don't think it's called table turning on Lunatic, but yeah, this thing. And it looks like there was a mistake there. Got hit.
Just going to restart. The laser strat on this spell is very cool, but very precise. So, timing to enter in the middle after you get out of the safe spot at the beginning. Then there are some pretty tight movements you're going to make inside all the laser rings. It's really hard to do it while all keeping on focus.
Street just got a 9k or 19k frost column. I guess with Sakia V's bigger graze box, I don't know how that compares to a Reimu B frost column.
Border breaks during the run are almost always not intentional. For a few exceptions on stage 4 and maybe stage 6 span, but that's it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that when we get there.
Sakura B also breaks borders repeatedly during Lyrica spell part. But I think that's like the only 3 exceptions in the run that you want to actively break your border and get another back, because the border bonus itself is really high.
And basically the intention is that when you break the border, if there's enough bullets on screen, you can set yourself up for another border, or just get another border directly if there's a lot of bullets, like that stage 4 section. And the cherry max that you get, the PIV that you get from those extra borders, outweighs the actual border bonus. Well, I mean, the final border you get in the chain, you'll want to time out for the border bonus anyway. So, for obvious reasons.
Player is kind of stuck in stage 1, you don't even see stage 2 opener, which is like another massive reset point.
I really like the stage 2 opener graze.
Oh yeah.
Although I never time it right.
Do you do it fully on focus or like?
Oh, I have to do the focus taps. I can't do that shit unfocused. Too hard.
I feel like it depends on the different shot types. If you play Reimu, it's easier to get a better number of grades with focus tab because they are much more accurate. And if you are doing Sakura, then it's probably the other way around because the focus speed is still kind of fast. And you get a better grades box, so you can afford to move slightly over and not lose grades. just my feeling of it. And if you are using Marissa, you are absolutely fucked. This game is not designed for Marissa.
Yeah, because unfocused grazing is... There's so much emphasis on unfocused grazing.
It's actually the case that this game seems to be made to adjust to the normal unfocused speed, because even though the Marissa focus speed is just like 20% faster, it feels very, very significant during certain patterns that you get very uncomfortable with your movement timings. Marissa get like 0 perks. So the only thing Marissa is like slightly better is she gets more cherry points from shooting. That's basically the only advantage, and it only applies for Marissa A. Like Marissa B unfocused shots, damage is terrible.
Yeah, the shots are also a lot differentiated based on their DPSs, because a higher power shot, especially one with a good shotgun like Reimu B, can get cherry plus a lot better. Whereas
it's actually not that simple. So there are like 2 different factors that sort of affect the cherry point gain. One is actually due to some damage cap issue, which I only learned about that like a few months ago. Yes.
Huh.
Hit damage cap. The game has a damage cap of a certain number per frame. And so if you shotgun, you can sometimes lose your damage.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Right here, Yu-suke stood still, because after the border ends, you get a few frames of border iframes where you can skip through bullets without dying.
The main reason that a higher power shot gets more cherry points is that bosses have usually pretty long iframes in this game during the start of each attack. Like every spell card has it, some of the non-spells have it.
So this graze right here is actually quite random, because the spawning...
I think the most random graze in the game ever.
The spawning position of the circles is just so varied every time that you'd basically just go YOLO and get what you can, but you can't always expect the same numbers every time, right?
Usually just do like spawn graze the first 2 circles. That's not too difficult, and after that it's mostly luck. Like unless you try like super hard, you have like super player reads, it's probably just luck. So I just do it underneath, and whenever it's possible then the app opens, like maybe goes up. It's mostly luck, kind of.
So this first spell can get a little bit obnoxious due to the fact that the screen shake can sort of disorient you. However, Sakuya doesn't really have to worry too much about it because this is a bomb milk spell with her.
I feel like I don't have to talk too much about the bombs. The bomb systems looks easy, but it's like actually not so because it's simplified with Sakuya V. So normally if you bomb, the cancels you get are of less value both in raw score and in cherry points.
Yeah, PCB has that it has that delay thing where after the bomb wears off, it's something that EOSD had that
the system is basically carried over from EOSD.
Yeah.
So in EOSD, this is purely used for score milking, but in PCB, it's also serves as the purpose of recovering your borders.
And the thing is that in Sakuya, because she freezes time and all the bullets just kind of wait for the bomb to end before all turning into those star items, the delay thing, you basically get the max value completely.
Yes. So star items, in terms of cherry points, are worth during normal cancels 20 each, but if it's during bombs, it's reduced to 5. So like you only get a quarter from it.
But is Sakuya B basically
Well,
immune to
Sakuya
that?
B does not cancel anything at all before it ends, so it always gets a full value.
Yeah, but Reimu B isn't like that, so there are some things where you like bomb and go to the corner.
The other shot type, it's mostly you time your bomb so that exactly when another big wave of bullets fire, so you can get maximum cancel value from it.
Alright, stage 3, Pog. Stage 3 is one of my favorite stages in this game. Actually, it might be my favorite stage for score.
Wow.
Also, ouch on streets.
The safe spot to work is just die to the spin.
So this spin is really cool, although it's not too difficult to pull off, though I think Yu-suke did something kind of like really... There was like one movement in there that looked pretty crazy.
Spin is actually not that easy. It looks easy on paper, but the precise movement you do can affect the grades you get.
Right.
Especially if you play Reimu with a smaller grades box. If you play Sakuya, the effect is less noticeable, and you pretty much always get around 20k or 250 grades every time. The grade system also has a caveat. So when the bullets spawn, they don't immediately have a grades box, so they are not possible to be graded instantly. This is probably designed so that you cannot say you carry a border, run into like a spawn point and get like 1,000,000 PIV from it. Sort of patched out in this game and force you to do more strategic movements instead of cheating the grades. So you're not possible to cheat.
I wanted to point out that Yu-suke was doing some careful left-right movement manipulation on Alice, and then when the border iframe ends, he like went down through Alice to go back under her. I've always thought that was pretty neat. This spell here is kind of evil. There's that weird bug. I forgot the exact...
It's a weird bug.
I forgot what the exact origin was, but...
Origin is something very weird, like, as we say, classical zoom grabbing. So
also, that's
it's
unfortunate.
not that... well.
Oh, reset.
It's probably that you don't have enough spell caps to continue. Not exactly sure, but... Well, actually, I think you can, but... I think that particular you can. That you don't lose the stage 1 spell cap. Yu-suke is not doing his full like 4-bill route, in which he will use 2 extra bonds on that his final spell, get another border. Then everything else, everything start from stage 2 also changed massively because the resource is different, the number of spell caps is different, so you have to catch up. Otherwise, when you're into stage 3 and stage 4, suddenly the stage portion stops to work if you don't have enough spell caps. There's extra planning involved. Back to stage 1 again.
Well, at least we get to see frost columns. So, basically a generalized recap of the score system. You want to farm borders, graze them unfocused to get cherry max, which is your PIV. Well, the PIV, your current PIV is your cherry, which is the leftmost number, but the max number, which you raise with the grazing, is the number on the right, which in this case for Yu-suke is 321k. You have to do a lot of...
The base PIV increases at the same pace as you gain the cherry points for borders. So it's like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
There are actually exceptions. When you break a border, the cancels increase the cherry point by 30 per bullet, but it increases your base PIV, recovers by 100 per bullet. This is very cool in Sakura V runs where you spam bombs during stage 3 and stage 4, and but you also have a point where you do chain border breaks, so you can recover your PIV
didn't get the border.
Next stage.
Well, you can graze outside of borders on spell cards to increase
outside of borders increases spell bonus by... So it's also related to PIV. It gains 70... it's like 1 for every 75 graze you get during a spell card.
Also, if you wanted to know the rate at which your cherry increases, it's 30 per focused bullet and 80 per unfocused bullet. Yeah, cherry is your PIV.
Other values are your PIV. The top value with the plus sign showing is the border gauge. When it reaches 50k, you get a border. It lasts 9 seconds. If you don't break it, you get 10k PIV as an extra bonus.
You increase that by shooting at enemies.
And like this. Basically the score equivalent to the 10-point items.
You increase it by shooting at enemies, getting star items, as well as grabbing the pink cherry items. And the pink cherry items increases how much cherry plus it gives you, depending on how many spell cards you have captured. Also, shooting unfocused gets you more on bosses than shooting focused, and shooting focused on regular stage enemies gives you no cherry plus. However, shooting unfocused on stage enemies does give you cherry plus.
Shooting on stage enemies allows you to make some microscopic adjustments for your border timing. In some places you want to activate the border by shooting instead of picking up cherry items that can potentially give you a better timing to get more graze during the border.
Oh, someone asked if grazing unfocused increases your spell card bonus more.
No, it's the same.
But I guess technically on some attacks, if you happen to be in your border, like Hirokawa, you'd want to be unfocused anyway, because raising your cherry max at a higher rate would also technically increase the spell card bonus at a higher rate than if you were focused. So, I mean, there's that. I guess it does technically increase if you're unfocused and you're in a border, but if you're not in a border, it doesn't make a difference.
Not in a border, the grades are all the same regardless of you focus or unfocused.
No, I meant like, because since you raise your cherry max.
Yes, right.
And so the cherry max is what calculates the rate of increase of spell bonus. So if there was like a really graze-worthy spell and you had a border, you'd still want to unfocus, and that would technically get you more score than if you were to focus for the spell bonus, right?
Yes.
Because you're raising your cherry max at a faster rate. Yeah, but
it's always going to be kind of significant. Like, except maybe on Resurrection Butterfly that you don't care about PIV gain anymore because the gain is almost gone. And otherwise the PIV gains are always significant source raising your score. We are still stuck in the
we haven't seen Boss Alice yet.
Part of the realm. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because the late game has some really cool stuff.
Boss Alice is when the run starts getting pretty interesting. Like, especially for Sakuyabi, when you get a lot more borders than the other shot types.
It looks like
the other shot types you get like only 5 borders during the entire fight, or is it 6? 1, 2, 3. It's like only 5, but
Street's volume is
with
so much.
Sakuyabi you can get like a total of 9 borders during Boss Alice.
Street's volume is so much
with
quieter.
Multiple borders during certain attacks. Like get border bombs twice and get another. Also, grazing in general increases the star item value as well. Carries over stage, unlike EOSD. It can be a good source of score gain, but that's usually not so relevant unless you're going for pretty high score, like at least 3 bill. People started caring about that. The gain is more significant as Sakuyabi because, oops.
Yeah, that's pretty oof.
This is the reason that you want to activate your border by shooting, because the item drops are not consistent at the end of stage. You might get no cherry items at all. Whenever that happens, then you're not at a good setup, like only 200-300 from getting a border.
Wouldn't it be really crazy if for the next 60 minutes they were stuck in stage 1 and 2, and then on the last credit they got to stage 4 and onward? That'd be cursed. Really cursed.
Oh, please don't curse the run. You always do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, but if I say that it's gonna happen, then it won't happen, right?
Maybe. It's Mino, Sakume now.
I mean, what other nuances can we talk about while we're in the Alice waiting lobby? I mean, we basically talked about how the system works.
We still don't have you still didn't get to the exciting part of the game, even once. Sucks.
Apparently the Chinese side is falling asleep, according to Crested.
I mean, yeah, if you don't get to stage 3, it's like quite boring. Once you reach boss Alice, it's all a different story. Alright, back when you play, do you think stage 3 is more difficult in general, or is it stage 4?
I always was worse at stage 4. I'm just allergic to it.
Minus the opener border. Just let's say the rest of the stage 4, because I know that one.
Poor Street got bullied by Letty. Oh, hold on.
At this point, I just want to get the game back and do some practice myself. It's pretty boring to watch just stage 1 repeatedly. You get to stage 2 somehow, like get hit during the opener and back to stage 1 again. Huh.
Well, we did get to see stage 2 again. So I used to think that these fairies here were, so the RNG of the item spawns is technically random between the fairies, but there are ways that you can manipulate it so that it doesn't have to be luck.
Yes and no. So you can sort of predict what item is going to drop if you play enough times of the stage and carefully watch the first items that get dropped. From the beginning, you can sort of predict what it's going to look like at the end. And well, the minimum requirement for you consistently get a border is like 27k into stage 2. If it's below that, you get around a 20% chance that you get a bad RNG spawn that give you one less cherry item than usual, so you will fail the pattern.
It's also possible to get your...
Yeah, you can also get like too much and
too
get
early.
the border too early. That one is, like I said, predictable if you play it enough times and notice the item drop pattern. Kind of control.
So 49,840 is a pretty good place to be to shoot to activate this. I think you want minimum, it's 49,500. I could be wrong.
Like 49.5 is like maybe you'll lose a little bit. Like 49.6 is usually good enough, I think.
Just realized I'm watching from the OBS instead of the actual stream.
Wait, you're watching from the OBS?
Yeah.
It's funny.
So we still got about 54 minutes left, so thankfully there is a lot of time for things to happen. So what I really like about this spell is that as Sakia B, you can actually graze those lasers that are spawning the blue bullets.
So after you bomb, you get all bullets cancelled and the lasers still on the screen. So lasers in this game does not get cancelled by bombs.
And they give a lot of graze, don't they? I don't know what the exact graze amount per being near them, but it seems like a lot.
Graze amount is like you get 3 per tick.
Okay.
It's like pretty fast.
And I mean, we'll see that a lot on Merlin.
Oh yeah. Well, Merlin is actually not mainly lasers.
Oh.
So remember I told you the micro dodge strat?
Isn't the second Merlin non basically like Sakia's Grace Bix's Sakia's Grace box?
Second Merlin non spins are extremely precise. Like they are like you either get a whole lot or nothing. So usually people don't do that. It's probably just for theoretical.
No, I meant like even at the bottom, like your grace box is so big, you can grace both sides of the screen at the or both sides of the lasers. So
it's like secret strat where you can spin around, but because of the delayed grace box I've just mentioned before, and also because
oh, by the way, we didn't really talk about this Chen second spell strat where you sort of move with the bullet and then like dash up. I guess it's really too late because it's already over, but isn't it that like you go behind or in front of one specific arrow?
There are 2 different ways of doing it. The one I used to do is you go from the left side and enter. There's also the other one that you just enter from the bottom to top, which I find more difficult personally. I think they are both doing this kind of variation. No difference of grades whatsoever because you only get grades from when Chen returns to the middle.
Well, we're in stage 3 again. By the way, this is literally the loudest I could turn my mic, so I hope it's good enough.
So this stage 3 bombs on the Alice opener.
Oh, right. Those are interesting because it's like the entire process of doing this non-spell. You like have to make sure that you're not late because you end it at like 0 seconds or 1 second left, right?
It's they're like variations again. So if you enter the stage with high cherry gauge, you can activate your border immediately. Hey, see,
was that a mistake?
This is time. Yeah. So he has to end the attack before the border ends because he did not have enough time. So the point is, if you activate the border by collecting items during the start, you get like 3 seconds extra for shooting, which you have no time problems at all to get the second border finished before the attack ends. But if you are not that high, you're doing it by shooting at Alice on the start. The time is going to be extremely tight, and also a bit of RNG dependent because if Alice moves too high on the second wave, the cancel gets reduced.
Oh, Iron scoring will be like well past. It'll be like middle of the night for a weekday night for me, Thursday. So I couldn't cover that. I would have to sleep for work, so I can't.
That's like what, Wednesday or Thursday night at like 2 p.m. 2 a.m. is probably not going to watch the iron scoring live.
Well, yeah, I won't get to watch it, but anyway, it looks like we're gonna at least get to see Boss Alice now, so that's good. There's a suicide there. The power items, I don't know if we mentioned this, but they turn into cherry items.
So the power items turn into cherry items, and in this game, on the stages, the big enemies, which will drop like a group of items when you die, they drop all point items when you're at max power, but drop some mix of point items and power items when you're not at max power, and they are guaranteed to drop one big P item. The way the suicides work for regaining glory is that...
I love this, by the way. This is so good.
But yeah.
Sorry, I had to interrupt just to point that out. that cute graze.
Graze is much easier to time as Sakuya because you can just basically react to the previous wave of the red bullets shrinking, and as soon as they shrink to the middle, you press bomb, and it's automatically set up for you. Do it as Movie, it's not going to have any. Oh, that is so nice. So I look at the
focus bombs.
The time countdown. Oh, focus bombs? They are pretty good. This focus bomb is like secret technique.
Huh. That's the first time I've seen it. That's really neat.
So, yeah, I probably got to explain the focus bombs a little bit. The focus bombs work because PCB has a bullet number cap that is sort of easily reached during certain attacks. Actually, under Alice's first spell, if you watch carefully, it's supposed to be symmetric. Specifically, it's supposed to be perfectly symmetric. But sometimes you can notice there's like few bullets missing because on this spell it actually reaches the bullet cap.
Also,
the bullet cap is slightly over 1000, but and cancel a part of it. So on this specific spell, you get like exactly 1000 bullets when they turn green. On the exact moment they turn green. So you can stall the previous wave, get partly cancel value from the focus bomb, and time it correctly so that next wave.
By the way, there's a suicide graze here. Suicide to... yeah. Oh, so you also get bombs back, of course.
For a better scoring round, you're going to spend yet another life on Alice. It's pretty much optional, and it comes with a cost of losing 2 spell caps, which is quite significant. So normally you want at least 7 caps into stage 4.
Oh.
So this means you cannot make any mistakes on spell caps during stage 1 and stage 2, otherwise your stage 4 will not work.
Is this improv?
This is not improv. This is basically just ignoring that word break. Because if you don't break, you still bump 2 times and get a border back. And do this spin.
Oh, I like that spin. That's really cute.
Yeah. This is kind of tied to go up. I think I have some problem going up at the beginning to enter the spin. Oh, like eventually I don't use that strat on my runs. It's kind of not that significant gain anyways. It's like maybe 5k more PIV. It's not really secret strat, but it's discovered quite recently. Like last year.
I think it's actually as far back as 2018. A spin?
Alice spin?
Yeah.
Not exactly sure. I think Rory was the one who first doing that in runs.
Also stage 4.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to see stage 4 finally.
So Yusuke's actually practicing the grazes right now.
Oh yeah.
Using the dialogue.
This is like his habit. Whenever he enters stage 4, he's going to do that simulator, the stage 4 simulator. You're probably going to see stage 5 simulator when he reaches Prison Rivers. I'm going to call it. He's going to do that stage 5 simulator.
So we were bringing up the whole thing about border chaining earlier, where you break a border intentionally and get another border with the sheer amount of bullets on screen. Well, I guess this opener here, obviously Zune didn't intend anything like this, but this can actually be done in a really crazy way where you can graze these at the top of the screen and mass farm for cherrybacks, and there is a lot of
basically during the whole duration of that's kind of an unfortunate mistake, but fortunately enough the border chain is still there.
That recovery was strong.
It's very easy to lose the border chain if you break the second one early. Like if you break the second one in the middle, you're guaranteed to lose your border chain. But if you happen to break it immediately, it's probably not going to affect the thing, but you'll lose like 2 seconds for the actual grazing. Which is a lot. 2 seconds in this section gives you probably like 200 grades in total. Maybe not that much, but at least like more than 100.
So these fairies are pretty interesting because they give you bullet cancels when you kill them. So it adds to your cherry plus.
Right now, I think Yu-suke has 7 spell caps into stage 4, which is kind of a safer strategy. Like, it's possible to do the entire stage 4 with only 6 spell caps, which is also the minimum. If you have 5, you cannot do anything on stage 4. If you get broken, your run is over, basically.
Alright, so now we're getting to Lily White. So he's using the side of the screen in order to position himself at a specific height. So he's gonna go for the timeout on the
going
board.
for it.
So now he basically has to.
This is like the as Sakuya B, the focus power is actually stronger than Reimu B when you are at the bottom of the screen. But if you focus enough during the border, you can kill it earlier.
So this part here has some manipulation with the bullets because some of them are aimed at you. I'm sorry, that was a really bad explanation. It's another thing of border chaining, of border breaking in order to milk a lot of PAB.
So before you break the border, you want to not shoot so that you have more bullets on screen. That allows you to border chain.
Yeah, and then it's aimed at you, so you
enemies also drop many cherry items to help you do that. Otherwise, it's not possible to chain. You recover your border by like 40k, and then you get the rest 10k by the enemy drops, so you can get another border.
So this is that 4 fairy section here. Sakuya B has a pretty good advantage.
Fail to adjust the shooting angle there. You want to adjust your shooting angle before the 4 fairies come up.
Yeah, actual one.
So that's more secret focus bomb strat. The reason they work is because if you unfocus bomb, the bullet cap is reached too early. So it's like not at max efficiency.
So basically, yeah, that's cool. So we're gonna get to see that really cool Merlin opener thing, eh?
If you watch carefully with the Yu-suke as well, his Merlin bombs are very accurate, so you can get like 4 to 5k extra from like 3 bombs total, which allows you to actually save one whole bomb in this boss fight. This is one of the major improvements he has made since he
God, this
came
looks so
back
cool.
to Sakuya. So if you watch the previous run, the 3.85 one is getting 1 extra bomb into this fight, and now he is doing this fight with 1 less bomb and still keeping the same border strategy, same border timings. And that bomb is going to make very big difference on stage 3 because you are now allowed to do both stage 3 and stage 4 optimally, and in the past you are only allowed to choose from one of them.
Wait, he's doing it.
He's doing it, but he's not getting a grades. Okay, this one is successful. If you watch, you get one of them. You get one of them out. You get like 8k from one time, and like only 2 to 3k from the other times. This is very precise. Like normally you'll just get the normal 2k, 3k. That doesn't actually matter.
So we're soon to be approaching our best friend, everyone's best friend, which is the monstrosity that is the Prism River first spell. This spell is kind of a nightmare because
spell is usually bombed as Sakuya.
Wait, really? Oh.
Yes. Unless you are going for like exceptionally high score. It's usually bombed. Like bombing does not lose anything because you get 1 extra border for like 40k PIV.
Well, Yu-suke isn't, or is he going to bomb?
He's not going to bomb.
Okay, so then it is the because the red
like
bullets are
exclusively for at least 3.5 build, or otherwise it's not going to work.
The hardest part is trying to optimize your graze while dealing with the randomness of the turbulent environment that is those red bullets. Oh, and yes, you want to go for Lyrica, always in score runs, or Lunatic score runs. I don't know if lower difficulties are different.
On hard, you go for Merlin, I think. So the hard Lyrica spell doesn't give you much graze.
Also, on the Lyricanon,
a lot.
You want to sort of graze on the outside of that ring because those bullets are still smushed together, so you can get a lot of graze by doing that. It's actually pretty nice.
So before they spread out, if you go to the top and spawn graze it, you get a lot more graze.
So you said there was going to be bomb milking on the spell.
Yes. And there's again some kind of secret strat coming up again. So he is going to use focus bombs instead of the usual unfocused bombs, and use the iframes to enter the ring inside when you bomb at a very specific timing. And now you're going to see. They're going to misdirect the boss to the right, and as soon as the boss moves to the right, you enter with iframe. Bomb timing is very accurate. If you bomb like slightly earlier, you'll fail by entering it. Your iframe runs out ahead of time, so you get hit. If you bomb too late, you cancel out the whole wave, so you get no grades at all. But if you do this bomb correctly, you can get as much as 15k PIV from each border than the usual strat.
This is smexy. Also, you can see the cherry is starting to glitch out. There's a visual bug. Oh, is this the thing? Yeah, where you misdirect the aiming components of this to get them in a line.
The starting angle is random, so it's sort of not so consistent. The starting angle is random, but the actual angle is a constant rotation plus some angle aimed to the player. So if you move at the correct height and at correct speed, you'll get the bullets lined up perfectly.
It's one of those cute micro optimizations. So, yeah. So, Concerto Grosso, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't really have anything significant on it other than just timing down the border.
Yes, but it's pretty hard, and this is one vital part of the art on higher levels. You'll notice that Sakuya B does no bombing to stage 5, so it's going to do a suicide at the start of the stage to recover while skipping the bomb at all.
Yeah, I'm not the most up to date with the roots, which is why I'm glad that SP0 is
that here. I'm also doing that with Rainbow B, which is like pretty advanced. You normally don't do that if you're following the standard HS strat. Dates back to 2010. Still remains to be very effective. You're going to see that to wait a little bit, suicide on these red bullets, cancel it all over there because they drop a fixed big. Oh no! Power item, but if you cancel into border here, it's going to be a massive loss. You're not supposed to do that at all. Now you have to like bomb.
Yeah, the whole point is so that you don't have to bomb.
Actually recovered. Somehow he actually recovered. You only bomb once. If you bomb twice on the stage, you're going to lose your PIV a lot. But now the border is also messed up. Break it, but I don't think you get enough from this break. It's not going to get the border on mid boss.
So that's real tragic.
At that point, you should just let the border time out and skip the border on mid boss. I have like 34k. What to do? Maybe bomb once, get the border. You're going to skip something on the boss fight. Yeah,
Bomb.
That's like most. Wait, the bomb only gives you 7k? That's very fucked up. You have to bomb yet again. Now you also have to bomb yet again after the post mid boss border.
Oh,
So you have no bombs into it breaks again. I don't know. This is like train wreck basically.
Tilting?
After if you. But I think that's like a failed attempt to recover. Just let the border time out on the stage. So that you don't really lose a border bonus, you just lose the grease on this mid-boss attack. I think the most reasonable explanation is that Yu-suke is doing a different route than he's used to for like 4 build, in which you'll have one less spell cap on stage 5. So he maybe, just my guess, he miscalculated that, forgot to add the extra spell cap. So he's like supposed to cancel it to 49k but accidentally get the border.
so this Graze is evil.
It is like slightly better with Sakura B.
Yeah, because the Graze box.
Bigger Grace box. I think I can get like 70k pretty consistently, but if remove it, it's probably like 60k. Like 60k is higher than.
It looks so easy because all you gotta do is just unfocus move, but that doesn't account for optimization. Optimization is hard there.
It's pretty hard. You know, like hard to tell because it's all like feeling. Just want to have a somehow grow a feeling in this attack.
So,
Oh, can you border? Oh, it's good. You got it.
wants to get the border so that he can also graze the end of the green and the, yeah, he wants to graze those waves as well. So the blue stuff is aimed at you, the red stuff is aimed around. If you're high enough on the screen, you can graze them really well.
Tap too much.
Yeah, ouch.
They have low bombs right now. This border break is helping nothing. Like otherwise I can make the rest of the fight easier, so it's like not a total loss. But now, because you don't have bombs, it's sort of
Is
just
he gonna time down
loss.
Hell's God Sword for the grace, the spell bonus?
Supposedly you want to get a border on that, then use a bomb on second non to get a border there too. But now, because there are no bombs, I'm not so sure if you can still get a border on second non.
Oh, right.
I think it's possible anymore. Like, maybe barely. Keep in mind that Sakura B is getting less cherry points from shooting on stage 5 than Remu B.
Oh, wow, that was... that bullet. It was just there, in the gap. Well, I mean, I guess that solves the border problem, though.
Yeah, you get not bombed. And he's also going to use this secret focus bomb showcase again.
So anytime the focus bombs are used like that, can I assume it's because of the bullet cap?
Yes.
Okay. Seems legit.
Very easily reached on these attacks.
Right, because the bullets freeze and then more bullets add on to it.
You want to cancel the way like you manipulate the square, so you want to cancel part of the attack first, and have the cancel on the fast moving bullets near the end. So you like kind of use the bomb strategy on other shot types.
Also,
get full
Stream
cancel
is
from
very
that.
laggy.
PowerPoint right now.
Yeah, we've sort of been neglecting street side, but that's mostly just because we want to sort of talk about the whole game in depth. Well, we want to be able to get a chance to talk about all of this stuff
also
first.
just street just make a pretty significant mistake on the stage 4 opener because you don't want to cancel into border on the last break. So you can use that to create the next section.
You can shoot Yomu in the bottom right corner to get a little extra cherry plus here.
And also, like, if you really want to optimize... Oh no. If you really want to optimize, you not shoot during the intermission of the 2 spell cards because Yomu is actually not invulnerable during that point. It makes no difference if you are like on some other route, but if you happens to be like have an excess of cherry points, which Sakuyabi normally does, you don't want to shoot during that intermission time and only utilize the iframe.
There's something oh, ouch. I was gonna point out the whole you can move up to get extra grays before the bullets finish unfolding like Yu-suke does there.
Yeah. It's kind of risky. I sort of get a feeling right now, but still, like, unless I somehow get a border during this spell, I'm not doing that.
Oh, I should talk about, we didn't even mention it one time, but Yomu's whole gimmick is that she'll do this thing where time gets slowed down due to her being really fast at slashing or something lore, and so basically you need to use that time to make dodges, and you can see it's coming into play here. Okay, so the spam, aka the thing that you're happy,
killer.
the thing that you're always happy that you get to skip on scoring, basically. Well.
So I get to talk about another point of Sakuyabi's focus bomb. So, you know the star item value? It's like unfortunate on street side. So the star items value is affected by grades. In particular, it's like so the score you get from the star items is like the grades commonly divided by 4 or something. And normally during a bomb you only get a fixed 100 points. But for some reason, whether it is a bug or feature, Sakuyabi still gains full amount of points, even though the cherry gain is reduced to 5. Bomb cancels are very significant at this point. So you can see it's like normally if you have 20k grades into stage 6, then a full bomb cancel, which I mentioned before, at a bullet cap is 1000 bullets, will give you over 5 million raw score. Which is like as much as a bomb's bonus is.
So we didn't see, I mean, we did see like Prism of Reverse Spell, but we didn't see too terribly many spell bonus milks, but that's about to change. So Yu Yuko's fight is the fight where you get all the big crazy spell bonuses because your PIV is so big this late in the game. And also, I mean, Zune designed her pattern so that there's a lot of grays you can get on them. I mean, some of them, like Hirakawa, are blatantly, obviously made with this system in mind. I mean, I think he meant that to be grazed. But there's some also grazes, like the first spell, that aren't really intentional, but you can do some cool stuff on it. I'll let you talk about this first non. Uh-oh. Is SP0 rip? SP0? Anyway, he's offline right now, so I hope he gets back soon. So anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of spell bonuses to get on Yuko's fight. Also, rip. I guess we won't. I guess there won't be a spell bonus for this spell, but you can graze the outer arrowheads by dashing through the wave and then grazing the next wave. On normal, there's a really sick strat where you can go through the laser, but you can't do that on Lunatic. I think SP0's internet died or something, because he's offline. Might have lost connection. Also, I want to point out something that's very helpful on Yuko's fight, is that unlike most bosses where you get star items on canceling attacks, on Yuko's fight, the bullets all turn into cherry items, which basically means that it's very easy to get borders on the next attacks, because there's a lot of cherry to be had on these cancels. So, this second spell here, the way that it works is that you want to manipulate... oh, wow, this is actually different from how everybody else does it. This is a... he went in a completely different wave on the start, so that's really interesting. But basically, the spiral of butterflies is going to turn around at some point, and you're going to need to use that interval to return your stream and go in the opposite direction. This looks really amazing. I've never seen anyone do this spell this way specifically before. It's completely different to how everyone else does it. It looks really nice. But it is static. There's no RNG to this attack. The only thing that's changing is the bubbles, because the bubbles are going to be acting based on what you're doing, so you can manipulate it the same way every time. So yeah, the normal spin starts at the top left corner of Yuko. So there's not really much to say about this non-spill here. The knives themselves are static, and the bubbles themselves are aimed at you. There's a little nice pocket in the side of the screen you can stay in for a long time to be safe, before going back into the middle, of course. SB0, please come back. So, you can actually start this spell on top of Yu-suke to graze these initial waves. So, on this spell here, the goal is to get into a repetitive cycle of grazing these lasers. Eventually, you will have to move away because obviously the butterflies will kill you if you just stood there forever. But the butterfly laser thing will chase you around the screen, and the lasers themselves, you want to sort of sidestep because they all give a lot of graze, and the blue bullets themselves are just rotating around the screen. So you can sort of route your way into a repetitive cycle where you go up and down, as well as going left and right through the blue bullets themselves. And with Yu-suke's massive amounts of cherry max, he's gonna get well over, a little over 100 mil just from that alone. So there's gonna be a lot of Pog spell bonuses. Yeah, not bad, eh? Yeah, Hirakawa is really hype. Meanwhile, this non-spell is not really hype. So, you want to graze the start waves of Hirakawa. The gaps of the yellow, green, and those light blue butterflies are always static. Yu-suke will then aim large sets of blue and purple butterflies at you, which give a lot of graze. What you want to do is you want to get into this pocket in the middle of the screen, right? Oh no! Oh no! He killed it too early. Ah, rip. Sorry, I got a little disoriented there. But anyway, it's a back and forth left-right movement in that little pocket in the middle of the screen, which would have net him over 100 mil again. Yeah, at least he got something out of it. Dying or breaking a border on it would have been really bad, much worse. So, he's going to want to... Okay, so... You mentioned before that shooting at bosses gets you Cherry Plus. The HP of Yu-suke here is so big that you can shoot unfocused from the start to get an entire 50,000 Cherry Plus worth for a border. So you can shoot from 0 to 50k on here just because of how much life she has, so that you can milk one extra border. It requires you to do a lot of unfocused shenanigans. I mean, oh.
Hello?
Rip.
Is it?
Oh, you're back.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. My internet somehow went down, and I have to reset my adapter.
Well, you're back for RB.
Oh, back for RB? That's really exciting. Please, Cap.
Oh, guild POCs.
Oh yeah, also, he's doing it on the left now. This like for better border timing because the last few items spawn at the left, so you need to do that for better timing. But because Yu-suke also moves gradually to the left, it's going to be very tight on the last few waves like this. Yu-suke killed Hirakawa.
Yeah, he killed it.
Oh, what?
Like really early and got 50 mil.
That's like 50, maybe
oh,
more,
no.
like 60 mil loss.
I also wanted to point out that because
that's the thing I was talking about. Because the left side is going to be so tight than the right. So
yeah, because Yuko gradually moves left throughout the spell.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that because it's a timeout spell, the spell bonus itself doesn't decrease through the spell like most spells do, so you can get a lot on Resurrection Butterfly.
Actually, like the PCB's spell card bonus decrease is like almost nothing compared to gain that you get from getting from grades. Yeah.
And what was I mentioning?
So the base spell bonus is only worth like 5 mil, but you can get up to like 100 mil in some spells. Like even in just normal spells that you don't get to graze milk, if you just regularly time it down, it's probably going to be enough to offset the spell bonus decrease.
Yeah, Yu-suke can still start another run. Anyway, what I was gonna say was that a common tactic while doing the, like for instance, on the Yuko penultimate is that you don't have to do all your dodges unfocused. You can stop shooting and then do focus dodges to get out of a dangerous situation. And then you can unfocus when it's safe again and start shooting. It's a common
So there's one thing about that spell in particular. Or like about the Yuko fight in general, but only matters on that spell. That is, you get more cherry points from shooting on the fan than on Yuko herself. So if you're watching as like remove B, you don't have to pay any attention because what? Because the remove B unfocused shot itself is spread out, so most of it actually hits the fan. That means you get a very high efficiency of getting cherry points. While as Sakuya V, it's the opposite, that most of your shot power is focused in the front. You have to do a different pattern, a different dodging pattern that you have enough time is spent away of Yuko, so you have enough.
Speaking of Yuko, Streets on Yuko. So I'll let you give your insightful Yuko commentary because I tried to do it earlier and I don't know how good I did.
Yuko commentary is like pretty boring, but also did Yu-suke do the reverse second spell spin?
Yeah, he did the really cool one. Yeah,
actually did it.
I was freaking out because I'd never seen anyone do it that way before.
Oh yeah,
it was a treat.
All the restreams are mirrored basically in his new pattern. All the restreams are mirrored. I think it gets like on average like 100 more grades. That's just it.
If you learn it, is it easier to execute?
No, it's definitely harder. The restreams are tighter than the usual one. The mirrored restream is kind of scary.
I mean, it looked scary, but you know, sometimes static things, you know, aren't as. But you know,
it's like you don't have much time to adjust. Whereas if you do the normal restream, you have a lot of time to the top right corner. Right here, also because you are going to enter a gap sooner, it's going to be more tight as well.
This is the normal way to do it.
This is the normal way. So you start from the top left corner. And that new strat is like from the bottom right corner. To do it like completely in mirror. This one is much easier than doing it on the bottom left for a restream. So you have so much time to position yourself for that dodge.
I always hated this dodge here, but I don't know. I don't usually actually fail it very much. It just feels scary.
feels scary at the start for sure. I think I get consistent at it very quickly.
So
more important thing is probably the thirst though. This is where the most difference are made from like a good score run to a really good score run on stage 6. You get like 500 more grades if you can try to optimize it. It's easier to get a high grades as RVRV because of the grades box advantage.
So I tried to give some commentary here, but I mean,
also the initial position on this one is kind of weird.
Well, isn't it the case?
I think if you start at the middle, I feel like the pattern is more difficult and you start at like a little bit to the left side, which is what I usually do. So if you do it like start on the left side, you probably lose like 50 grades on the first wave, but the rest is easier.
And the first few waves are angled a bit differently every time. But then when the blue ones,
different. So mechanics are the initial angle is random, and there's like a fixed rate of rotation of it. And during the first 20 seconds, there are mixed aimed bullets at you.
So it's a bit tricky at the start, but it gets easier because then when she gets into a continual fire, you can just do the same cycle.
It's fully consistent.
Yeah.
Yes. The first few waves may be sometimes required to do unusual adjustments.
So I already mentioned the Hirokawa, well, the little pocket you get into.
What's this? This runs at 2.5 here. It's probably not rebuild pace. Oh, it's not. It's like 2.8, 2.9, I think. Of the lower clear bonus. Where did he lose so many point items? Oh, he died to a stage 4, right?
I don't.
The point item count is much lower than usual. Because you're supposed to have like
Also 100 mil hype?
60.
Yeah. 100 mil.
Actually, 105 mil is really high with this. I think it's like 3-4 mil higher than normal. He's trying pretty hard on the grades, I think.
He's not gonna go for the second border. Understandable. So
he's going to secure the spell cap. We can do the RB strats.
Yeah, it's pretty easy just doing it normally because you can just do the same hops.
Because I've missed so much of the run, I don't know how many spell caps he's at. So I'm not sure what he's going to do now. But on the first wave, we can see what the cherry value is. So he has 16 caps. That's very unfortunate because he cannot do the iframe strat.
Oh.
17 minimum to do that. That's going to be probably a 500 grades loss. Because you're going to grade some more point items.
So just going back to the old-fashioned HS way of just POCing all the waves like that. Ah!
I think to me, like, just POCing is more difficult than doing the iframes.
To be honest, I actually agree with you. Oh, I agree with you.
Doesn't matter
I used to not,
they already
though.
banned.
The users will use a lot of...
Would have been, like, pretty close to 3 bill, actually? I'm not sure. Now it's like...
2.8.
2.8 something. Not too bad. 2.86 or 85, yeah. But here we go, the meme picture again. GG.
Oh, final run. So Yu-suke wins. Well, I mean, yeah. So we'll see what he ends up. I mean, he'll obviously finish the run. I mean, there's no point in just SQing now. I guess unless he makes a really huge fuck up.
If you enter the spell from below, you're going to make like some scary dodges.
Is he gonna play extra? Oh.
Just going to watch the replay.
Oh, forgot to talk about that strat again.
Which one?
The one where you follow the bullet.
Oh, I was talking about it.
Well, we did, but
yeah.
I forgot to point
I
out
was talking about it
that it was happening.
Yeah. It's actually come from when Chen returns to the middle, it come with a laser, so you can get higher grades. Oops. Okay. That is going to be pretty big. If you die here, with this pattern you're relying on the cherry item drops on stage 3, so you're not going to get the spin. Normally it's probably not going to affect so much. But now with this specific strategy, you're relying on the enemy drops. And now they don't drop cherry items, they drop the power instead.
Oh.
This is the
unfortunate.
End of the round. Unfortunate. There's probably no point in continuing this one. This run is like virtually dead. Unless I guess because Yu-suke can do like some crazy things to like, maybe it's just like 200 mil, no, not like that.
I think he's just playing for
something.
funsies.
Yeah. Only, like I say only, it's like only 100 mil loss. A for him, we can maybe still beat the previous run. Do everything else correctly.
He also failed RB. Oh, Chris had pointed that out. I guess this TWC just proved that PCB was impossible.
After all the mistakes, 629 KPIV here isn't that bad at all. It's not really dead. Can probably beat his score, but it's likely not PB pace. No. End of stage 3? What do you mean? I probably have to look bad at bot. Can you tell me what happened here? Because I was kind of curious about, you say, like, failing the split side at the end. What do you mean by that? Did you not get a power up? Just went through all the bullets? What the fuck? You just ram the fairy normally? Like that's everyone do how everyone does that? If you want to... Right? Even when I say the run is like dead, I'm probably just mean you cannot PB anymore because look how bad it looks like right now. It's still going to have like equal, like pretty much equal PIV than I had on my PB, and I lost 100 mil on stage 5, so that's going to be like 3.4 pace even with my stuff. If you plug in Yu-suke stuff, it's going to still be like 3.6, 3.7 potential at all anyways. That's crazy, huh? But yeah, the game is crazy. Five, six basic bombs again here for whatever. nothing. What's he even doing now? Don't game over. No, it's actually pretty dead. Everything didn't go in correctly. So.
I guess I've kind of run out of things to really say. Oh, rip.
Ah.
Oh, rip.
This.
Oh yeah,
Alright,
it's dead.
Dead now. There's no hope. No hope.
Wait, what? Why did he cancel the border before grazing?
They want to do this border.
Wait, wait, what? Is there something I'm missing?
Obviously, you get the border in completely wrong time. This is just that. Like, I hope it's clear. Like, all I can say about this, I hope it's clear. It's probably not even going to be the 3.3.
I mean, it's not even gonna have a... Well, I guess it'll have at least a mill. Or will it get a mill? Going into Prison Rivers?
Not even 1 mil. That's This is like down 3 lives or something. Can't even do the full strat. So like you need to have at least like a 2-2, so you use like 1 life, 2 bombs, and have the stage 5 to have 1 life to spend on the beginning of stage 5. Now you don't even have that life. It's probably not going anywhere at this point. Is he going to just stall the dialogue as long as possible so the stream can keep going?
You might just be chatting in the chat room.
Maybe. Alright.
Will this be a 4?
Clear. No clear. So like going to be a 4.
Oh no. Can't do the milking on the Lyrica spell. Because there's no resources. Ah.
I guess that's the end of today's stream.
Oh, I wanted to know what he what did he name his replay? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. Just go to his VOD because he always saves his VOD. Really want to find out.
So it looks like the next match is gonna be on Sunday. Wily Beast and Weakest Creature, no bomb. So look forward to that. Oh, he named it Sorry?
Name is Sorry. Oof.
He doesn't need to be sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna end this stream because it's getting really late. But thank you guys for coming out to watch the match. It was fun. We confirmed that Yuko is impossible. And do you have anything else to say?
I don't know, but I feel quite bad for not getting 3.2 bill before the match. So I was hoping I can get something to show like before or after this match, but now it seems not to be the case. So whatever, see you next time.
By the way, this is the new IN match card with updated time.
I believe reschedule it to a work day.
Yeah.
Afternoon. How does that make sense?
But anyway, I'm ending now, so